All right, welcome back to this React series, and I hope you all are enjoying it. Now, if you're following this series, then I would want you all to comment below. Comment your name, mention your name, where are you from, and also mention what is motivating you to learn React. Okay, and any sort of feedback or any sort of request you have, feel free to mention that as well. All right, now talking about this video, we are going to cover fundamentals, like how can we like fundamentals of React basically. Okay, and this is what we are going to see over here. Okay, so we are going to talk about the development environment. We're going to create our first React projects, install prerequisite. We are going to talk about the create React app tool, and we'll install and set up a Visual Studio Code. We'll explore the project structure. Our first React project is something that we'll create, and then we'll talk about Vite as well. Okay, and we'll move to Vite, and we'll also learn how we can change the port of React application. So this is going to be a beginning of React, and I would love, it would be great if you could follow along. Okay. And yes, do watch this video till the very end. Any sort of feedback, let them keep coming. All right. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So to write code in React, you need Node.js. Now, what is Node.js? So Node.js is nothing but a JavaScript runtime, and it lets you execute JavaScript code on the server side. Okay, so that's something that we'll need Node.js. We'll also need something called as NPM. Now, what is NPM? So NPM is nothing but a package manager for JavaScript. Okay, it is used to manage the different packages that you use with JavaScript. It is used to install libraries, tools, frameworks. So if you want to make use of React, you need to make use of this package manager. Okay. Also, we will need something called as Visual Studio Code. So this is going to be the IDE. Okay, and we are going to make use of this, and it has a wonderful support for web development as well. So we are going to make use of Visual Studio Code for this. So coming to our browser, what we are going to do is we are going to head over to Google, and we are going to search for Node.js. Okay, this is something that we are going to need. I'm going to click on this, and you can see over here, this is where we will need to install the Node.js. So you can download the Node.js LTS version. Okay, you can download it from here, and you can even go to download page, and if you need anything custom like for Windows, Mac, you can get the selection from here. Okay, installation process is very straightforward. You download this like any normal software program, and you just follow the setup and installation instructions. Okay, once you have downloaded, what you can do is you can come over to your terminal, and you can verify whether the installation was successful. So you can say node-v. You should see this version being printed. So your version number might be a little different from that of mine, because this might depend on when you're watching this video and whether there is a newer version available. But don't worry about different version number. A number should get printed. That is what you should worry about. Then you type in npm. So we need this node package manager as well. Okay, and you can say -v. So this should also print a version number. It's okay if it's different than that of mine. Okay, but we need these two things to be installed on your system. So one is Node.js, which is the JavaScript runtime. Okay, and then we have npm, which is a package manager. So just be sure that you have both of this. Hey there. So now it's time that we begin creating our React application. And we're going to do this with the help of the command line. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over or navigate via the command line into the project folder. Now, what I mean by project folder is it's a folder of my choice where I wish to have my React projects organized. Okay, so what you can do is you can head over to the Finder. Like if you're on Mac, you can head over to Finder, or if you are on Windows like me, you can head over to Explorer. All right, and create a folder in the location of your choice. You can call the folder whatever you want to. I would name it React. And then from the command line, you can just like navigate to the location where you have created the folder. So I've created this React folder here at this particular location, and cd is the command which is a change directory, and it is helping me navigate or head over to this particular folder or to be in this folder from command line. So now I'm in this particular folder. I'll clear everything else. All right. Now in this particular folder, I'm going to begin creating my React application. And for this, I'm going to make use of npx. Okay. Oops. So I have already created a few React applications before. So you can see this suggestion over here. Okay. But there's nothing I can do about the suggestion. Okay. But ignore this suggestion for now, because what this particular terminal does is whatever it sees in your history, it just keeps suggesting you, which is good. But yeah, it's showing you the entire command. That's completely fine. So npx, I'm going to make use of npx. Okay. Now npx is it's a syntax. All right. It's used to execute the node packages. Okay. Or it is used to execute the packages, and then we are going to make use of create React app. All right. Now what is create React app? Create React app is a sort of a tool which helps you create the entire React application. Now, why are we making use of this? Because the React project has to be organized in a certain way. Like it needs to have the src folder, it needs to have some files, and all of this come together and they enable your application to work in a seamless way, right? So you can go and manually create those files as well, but this is a tool that enables you to create or set up the application structure in the right way. Okay. And after this, I'm going to just mention my application name. So I can call it my React app, something like this. Okay. And what I can do is I can simply press enter. The moment I press enter, what this is going to do is it is going to create a folder in this particular location. So in this particular location, it is going to create this folder. Why is it creating a folder in this location? Because I've navigated to this folder from the terminal, and this will be the folder name under which all the files of my React project will exist. Okay. So you can press enter, and you should see some sort of processing happening. So you can see creating a new React app in this particular location. It is installing some packages, and this might take a couple of minutes. So it is installing. It is also telling you what it's installing. It's installing React, React DOM, React scripts, and everything. Okay, everything it needs. So we'll wait for a while until this entire process is complete and we see a confirmation. So I have got the confirmation, and I also got a minor message. Okay, so by the time I started recording this video, there's a new minor version, it says, of npm that is available, and it's asking me if I can upgrade. Okay, so I'll upgrade later. You might not see this. Okay, but yeah, I'll just ignore this for now. It's just a upgrade notification. You can see the confirmation over here. Happy hacking. All right, and if you scroll up over here, you'll see the entire process of what happened. So we executed this command here. Oops. Let me scroll up. So we executed this command over here. Okay. If you come over here, you can see it added so many packages. It took 36 seconds. If you come here, okay, it has said success, created this particular application at this location, and inside that directory, so you need to navigate to this directory, and inside this you can run all these commands over here. Okay. Now, once you navigate, so it has given you ready-made commands like npm start. It will start a development server. So the React application that you have created comes with an embedded inbuilt server. You can run this command to bundle the application and into static files, basically for production deployment. This will start the test runner in case you want to run test cases. Npm run eject. Okay, this is something that you can run. So the suggestion is you can like start by executing this over here. So I'll copy this. Okay, I'll paste it over here. I'll head over to this directory. Okay, and then it is telling you npm start. Now this is a command that using which you can start a development server onto your local machine. So I can run this command as well. Okay, and you would see the application up and running. So this is the application. Okay, you can see the browser automatically opened, and you can see this is the application that is up and running. Okay, now this is a server which is showing you your content, or which is executing your React application into the browser. Now any change you make into the files, you'll see live reloads happening over here. All right, and now you can see the message over here, like you need to edit this particular file and save to reload. Okay, so this interface is coming in from this particular file is what it says. And if you click over here, this is the link to the official website of React. That is what it has linked to. Okay, so you can go over to that website and check out or read some stuff as well. All right, but few things I would like to mention over here is, once you have started the development server, you can stop it by pressing Control and C on Windows or Command and C on Mac. Okay, so I'm on Windows, so I pressed Control C, and you can see it terminated this particular job. And here now, if you try to refresh, this is not going to work. Okay, because the server is down. Right now, in order to get your server up and running, you need to run npm start within this particular folder. Okay, only then your server will be up. So while doing development, you can keep the server on and actually modify the files and save and see the changes happening live. Okay, now I will talk a bit more about this command. So we created the React app or the entire application using this particular command. Now you can also add options over here in the end. Okay, so what you can do is you can make use of templates over here. Okay, now let's say when you're working with React, you also want to make use of TypeScript. Okay, so if you're making use of TypeScript, you can add something like this. You can say template over here, and you can say TypeScript. I'm not going to run this, but this is just an extra information. What this will do is it will make use of the TypeScript template to create your application, and it will add the TypeScript support right from the start, which is helpful if you're working on a larger project that can benefit from strict type checking. All right, so you can make use of this command in this way. All right, I hope this command is clear. npx create React app. So we don't have the server up and running, but you can now restart the server again by saying npm run npm start. I'm sorry. So it's npm start, something like this. And if you start it, it will again start the server. All right. So I hope this is useful, and I hope you have been able to follow along. This is our first React-based application, which we created. Okay, or I should say we did not create. Okay, so this is automatically generated project using create React app. Okay, and it's also giving us some hint over here. You can edit app.js and save to reload. Okay, it has a link to learn React, which will take you to the official website of React. All right, so far so good. So this is our application up and running. Now what do we need to do? We need to start coding and modifying things. And what are we going to do for that? We are going to install an IDE, which is the IDE Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is what it looks like. If you already have it on the computer, well and good. If you don't, then head over to this official website. It is a free tool. Okay, it's free, built on open source, runs everywhere. So since I'm on Windows, it's prompting me to download a stable build for Windows. You can switch to whichever operating system you need to. But if your operating system has an installer over here, it is going to automatically. So if you're logging in from Mac over here, it is going to show you download from Mac. Okay, so whichever platform you're opening this from, it is going to show you that button, and you can go through this if you're not aware of what Visual Studio Code is. But just download and just install it like any other software program. Okay, I have it already installed, so I won't be showing you the installation steps, but installation steps are not at all complex. It's very simple and straightforward. Now, once you have successfully installed Visual Studio Code, you would see a page like this. So if you open Visual Studio Code for the first time, you'll see this welcome page. Now, I have been a Visual Studio Code user for a while, okay? And you're seeing all these recent projects. So it's likely that you won't see these list of recent projects unless and until you are a user, okay? But since I'm a user, like I said, I'm seeing the list of recent projects which I have used or created in past. Also, you'll see these options over here: new file, open folder, clone Git repository, connect to, all of this. It's a very useful tool, Visual Studio Code. I use it all the time. Now, to open the project, the folder, like where you have created the project. So you can just click over here, open folder, and you can navigate to the folder location where you have created the project. Alternatively, if for some reason you're not seeing this, you can go to file from the menu options here, and you can say open folder. Both are the same. So what I will do is I'll select open folder, I'll navigate to the directory of my choice, and I'll open the project over here. Now, when I selected open folder, I saw this folder window, okay, which is Explorer, and I navigated to the folder where I've created the React app, and I'll select this particular folder. This is my React app project that we have created. Inside, you'll see few files, okay, but you need to select the root folder. I'll say select, and it will open this particular folder for me. Now I can close this welcome page over here, okay. So you can see the project over here on the left hand side. Okay, you can see this entire folder. If you expand this, you'll see the files within. Okay, so when you executed the command called create react app, okay, with create react app, you saw it created all of this for you. Okay, you can manually create it as well, but as you can imagine, this is going to be very tedious, right? So that particular tool, create react app, does the job for you, wherein it sets up the entire project structure for you. Okay, we'll go through this project structure soon, but for now, what I would also like to explain is we have the server up and running from the terminal. Okay, now what I can do is I don't need to make use of an external terminal. Visual Studio Code has a way wherein I can actually have a terminal within Visual Studio Code, and this way I never have to leave Visual Studio Code and switch to a local terminal. So here at the top in the options, I will see terminal over here. You can say new terminal, and you can see this is an integrated terminal inside Visual Studio Code. And if you say pwd, which is present working directory, the terminal is automatically opened in the folder which you have opened inside Visual Studio Code, which is the project folder. So you don't need to navigate also, like you don't need to run command cd and all and navigate. Okay, and this just works like a local terminal. So here I can say npm start over here. The moment I say, I'll get an error. You can see something is already running on port 3000. And what is running? Our application itself is running, and it is asking us whether you want to run the app on another port instead. I don't want to do that. I'll say no. Okay, and it will just stop the execution. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll first shut this server because I no longer want to make use of an external, external terminal over here. Okay, I want to stick to the Visual Studio Code provided terminal, and I'll say npm start, and this should now run the development server for you. Okay, so this way what we can do is I'll move this to a new window. So here we are in the new window, and I have Visual Studio Code running in the new window. So this way I don't have to leave Visual Studio Code ever. I can even minimize this over here like this. Okay, I can even create new terminal from here. So you can see plus, and you can have multiple terminals running over here. Okay, it's very useful, and it is this is the reason why. These kind of tools that Visual Studio Code provides, that is the reason why it's loved so much in the developer community. Now I'll also show you the list of extensions that I have. So here, if you go to this extensions tab on the left hand side, so here you have some options like search, you have source control, run and debug, all of this. Okay, I'm making use of Docker also in some of my projects, so you can see Docker over here as well, but you might not see this. Okay, this needs a separate extension. Okay, but if you go to extension, now what are extensions? So extensions enable you to enhance or extend the default functionality that Visual Studio Code already provides. So you can see I have extension for Jupyter Notebook. Okay, whenever I'm coding in Python, and if I want notebook support, I make use of this extension. Okay, so I have this extension. This is not needed for React. I have Python extension. Okay, now this auto rename tag, this could be helpful for React because if you are renaming a tag, okay, and if there is a closing tag, what this will do is it is going to rename the paired version of that particular tag. Okay, so this is something that you can have. It's helpful. For example, if I have to give you an example, let me give you an example. So let's say if I create, or let me open some file over here. Okay, let me open an HTML file. Now this thing over here, you can see, let me go over here, scroll down. So this title has an opening tag and a closing tag. So because of that particular extension, if I rename the opening tag, you can see the closing tag is also being renamed. Okay, so that is the benefit of this auto rename tag. Okay, you don't have to rename the opening tag first and then rename the closing tag, right? Bracket pair colorization, as you can make out from the icon itself, it is used to, it color highlights the closing pair of the bracket. This is useful if you're making use of a lot of brackets in your code. Okay, debugger for Java, dev containers, Django, Docker, all of this are used for other languages. Extension pack for Java, Gradle for Java, IntelliCode. Okay, this is like for AI assisted development. This is also for this is IntelliCode API usage examples. Okay, I have some for Python. So these are all Python related. I'll scroll down. A live server. We don't need this. Maven for Java. This also is not needed. Prettier is something that you can use. This formats the code. Okay, it organizes the code for you. Okay, and yeah, this is what we have. Okay, I will also add some extensions right now over here. Okay, so what you can do is you can search for React code snippets over here, something like this. Okay. Okay, so you can search for ES7 plus React, something like this, and you'll see this extension with almost like millions of installs. So this is 12.9 million as I'm recording this video. Of course, this will keep on increasing and you might see a different number when you're watching this. So this is the extension. This is the name ES7 plus React Redux React Native Snippets. Now what this does is it gives you templates. Okay, like for example, if you want to create a function, so you can say RAFC. You can just type in that and it will give you the entire function definition for you. Okay, so these kind of shortcuts it has which helps you save time. So you can install this. So I'll just click on install and add it to my list of extensions. Okay, so yeah, we have it installed now. Okay, you can explore more React plugins or extensions in the marketplace over here, and you can play around with it and you can enhance the default functionality that Visual Studio Code already provides to you. All right, so yeah, that's about setting up Visual Studio Code, and I hope you found it useful. So now it's time that we begin understanding the React project structure. Now, when you open or when you analyze the React application that you have created, there are lots of files that you will see. Some of them are folders as well. Okay, so here you see this node modules folder. Okay, now what is node modules? So this is a directory that contains all the npm packages, like libraries, dependencies that your project relies on, and you generally during the course of the development of your React application, you generally won't need to interact directly with this particular folder. Okay, so yeah, this is something that is there. You need to know what it is, but you won't be working on it. Public folder. Now, this folder houses all the static files like the main index.html, which contains the root div where your React app gets injected. Okay. If you don't understand that, don't worry, I'll explain that. But this essentially has the list of all the static files. Like you can see the favicon, you can see a couple of logos, manifest.json, robot.txt, and index.html. Okay. Now, what is index.html? Now, this is the file where your React application is being injected. So here, this is the standard HTML. You can see, okay, everything. And here you see title as React app. So when you run the application, you'll see the title as React app. If you change the title, I can say React app changed over here, something like this. And if I save this, if you come over here, you'll see React app changed, right? And whenever you make a change, the server reloads itself. So if I add 3 dots and if I save this, you'll see this got refreshed, right? And if you come over here, the changes are immediately reflected onto the browser as well. So I'll get rid of this, I'll save this, and if you come back, you'll see it's React app now, right? So this is the file that where your React application is being injected, okay? And here, if you see within the body, you are having this div, okay? Now, we are making use of this root div to inject the React application over here, okay? And how we are doing it, I'll explain that shortly. So for now, just understand that index.html is a file where your React application is injected, okay? And it is there in the public directory. You have src folder. Now, src folder is the folder where all the magic happens. It contains all the JavaScript files for your React component, style sheets, images, all of that exist in this particular folder. So essentially, all the source code related to your React application that you will be working on resides in the src folder. So you as a React developer, you will be building application and you will be spending most of your time in this particular folder. Okay, you have git ignore, of course, if you have configured git over here, package JSON. Okay, so this is the JSON file. So you can say that this is the heart of the project when it comes to Node Package Manager, NPM. Okay, so this is a file that is going to list all the dependencies that your application is using. Okay, and depending on what dependencies this particular file has, okay, all the dependencies are going to be fetched remotely and being added to the Node modules folder. That is how it's going to work. Okay, so whenever you add a new dependency, package JSON is always updated. So that is what package JSON does. Okay, but now let us take a look at the src folder. So in the src folder, you'll find this file called app.js. Okay, or before exploring app.js, let's go to index.js. So index.js is the starting point of our React application, right? And this is where the app component is rendered. So I'll open index.js, I'll open app.js, and I'll just collapse this. Okay. Now, if you take a look at the index.js, what this does is it is getting the root over here. So you can see document.getElement by ID root. Now, what is root? Root we saw over here. This is coming in from index.html. So index.js is getting this root and it is rendering. You can see root.render over here. Okay, it is creating the root of React first using React DOM, and it is rendering app over here. You can see app. All right. Now, what is app? So app is nothing but app.js. So you can see at the top the list of imports. Import app from .app. Now, what is this? This is app.js. Okay. So here we have a component defined. This was predefined. We didn't define it. It was defined. It was available by default to us. And this has some code which is being rendered onto the interface. Okay. So we are rendering this component over here. Okay. And if you come over here, this is what you're seeing the UI, and you can see edit src/app.js and save to reload. You can see. So if you want to change the interface, you have to edit app.js. So why app.js? Because that is what is being rendered. And as per the instructions, you can modify this. So you can see edit app.js and save to reload. That is the message that you're seeing over here. Okay. And that message is coming in from here. Right. So you can, whatever changes you make over here, you'll see immediately. So reflected. So I can say reload and I can say update over here. Just update keyword. And you will see here. 1 second. So it did not. Okay. Update. You can see update is added over here. So I'm updating live and I'm seeing the changes. If I save again, if I go here, update is removed. Right. So any sort of changes you want to make in the interface, you can make it in app.js. Okay. You can even add more components, like we are only rendering one app over here. Like from app is the component defined from app.js. You can see we're exporting it over here. Okay. So we are exporting it over here and it's being imported in this file and it's being rendered over here. Okay. Any sort of changes you want to make, you can make over here. And if you want to add more components, we can do that too, of course. You will be learning that when we go a little bit deeper. But yeah, I hope this gives you a complete clarity as to what is happening, why it's happening. And you'll find some more files like index.css. You can see in the app.js, you'll find app.css being used. So these are all CSS files. okay, that exist and they are being used. You have logo.svg. Okay, this is the logo file. Okay, so yeah, this is about the project structure. It's pretty straightforward, and it gives you a glimpse of what is happening once your React application is created and when you run it for the first time. All right, so I hope you have clarity as to how this interface is being rendered, and I hope this was useful. So now it's time that we do a little bit of experimentation with our project that we have created. So what we are going to do is we are going to modify this page a bit to print a custom message of our choice. And the message that we can print is welcome to React. And this is my first React application. So that's the message that we are going to print. If you think you can take this up as a challenge, okay, depending on what we've understood so far, I would be happy if you do so. Okay, so pause the video right now and attempt this as a challenge wherein you replace this content that you're seeing and you replace it with the message which I just said. Okay. To replace, the instructions are also given over here. You need to edit this particular file, src/app.js, to make any changes. All right. So try this out, and if you're not able to, don't worry. You'll come back. You can come back and play this video and watch the solution. So I hope you had a chance to attempt this as a challenge. What I would do is I would start with this particular thing here. I'll head over to src and I'll go to app.js. Okay. Now app.js is being rendered. So this app component is being rendered in index.js. Okay. And this is the main component right now. Okay. So what I will do is I'll come over here. Okay. I can actually minimize this over here. The server is running. Okay. So here I'm returning this div. Okay. So I don't need all of this. So I can just get rid of this. All right. Over here. And then here I can have a message. Okay, so I can say h1. I can say welcome to React, something like this. And you can have a p tag over here. And you can say this is, okay, this is my first React app, something like this. And you can save it. The moment you save it, and if you come over here, you're going to see this message come up. Okay, now you can see this is entirely white screen because we've removed a lot of elements over here. All right, so that's what you need to do. Another thing is I'll mention over here, I have wrapped these two elements, okay, or these two HTML elements within a parent div. Okay, so what is happening over here, just observe. This is a function, a normal JavaScript function. And I'm making use of logo over here, which actually I don't know. So I'll do a little bit of cleanup. Okay. Now I'm making use of app.css. This is a CSS file. This is a function which is returning something. Okay. It's returning this and I'm exporting this particular function. And this is being used in index.js. You can see over here. It's being used over here. Okay. Which means it's being rendered over here and it is being rendered in root div. Okay. So what is happening is I'm returning this. Okay. This code over here. This piece of code looks like HTML, okay, but it's actually not HTML. It's known as JSX, okay. So JavaScript XML syntax, because you can see in HTML, if you want to write a class name, you will have a different attribute over here. You won't make use of class name over here, okay. So instead of class name, you will write class in HTML, okay. But in JSX, you will make use of class name, okay. And the syntax is very similar to HTML. So if you know HTML, this would be pretty easy. Okay. And there is one rule that you need to know is here when returning a interface. So you're constructing an interface and you're returning it from the component. So when returning this, you need to make sure that all the UI element is wrapped under a single element. So you can only return a single element and not multiple. I'll show this to you. So if I remove this, okay, you can see I start getting an error. You can see JSX expressions must have one parent. And if I try to save this and go over here, you can see all sorts of errors over here. You can see, and it's giving you the error message also. Okay, it's saying must be wrapped in enclosing tags and you need a fragment over here. Okay, so that's the explanation it's giving. I'll just do Control Z and I'll bring back the div and I'll save this. to return it to its original working form. All right. So I hope this is something that you have understood, and I hope you have been able to do this. Okay. You can even add your introduction over here, like, hey, I am whatever your name is. You can add that. You can save the file, and you'll see the output in the web page. All right. So I hope you have been able to follow along, and I hope this was useful. So I'm here on my terminal, okay, and I have navigated to my folder where I'm creating the React projects. So if I say ls, I'll see one React project is already created over here. Okay. Now what I want to do over here is I want to talk about Vite. Now, what is Vite? So Vite is another way of creating React projects, and Vite is actually a modern build tool that offers a fast and efficient development experience for modern web applications. Okay, and it speeds up the development time for developers, and it does so by processing files only when they're actually imported, and it's much faster. It has a much faster development server as well. Okay, so today, if you're doing React development, Vite is being used a lot. Okay, and if you head over to the browser, if you search for Vite over here like this, okay, you'll see it's a local development server. Okay, it's a front-end tooling, and if you go to the website over here, you'll see like it's a build tool for web. Okay, and it's blazing fast front-end build tool powering next generation of web applications. Okay, and you can go through, you can see like instant server start, lightning fast, HMR. It supports a lot of things, JavaScript, TypeScript. Okay, and yeah, you can go through the website and learn more as to what it enables you to do. All right. Also, to explore more, you can click on Get Started over here. Okay, and you can see more about Vite. You can see how it's pronounced. It's pronounced as Vite. Okay, and you can see these are the templates that it supports. Okay, vanilla JS, vanilla TypeScript, Vue. It supports React. All of this it supports. All right. So if you scroll down a bit, you'll also see the commands. So using npm, yarn, pnpm, and bun. But we are making use of npm, so we can make use of this command. So what I will do is I'll show you how you can create a project using Vite. Okay, you can even create a project using create React app, but I would say Vite is a more modern way to create React projects and work on web development. All right, that is what everybody is doing right these days. Okay, so you should know what Vite is and how you can make use of it. So you can see this command npm create Vite latest. Okay, so I can copy this. Okay, there is one more version of this particular command. So once you run the command, it will prompt you with what sort of project you want to create, what is the name of the project. It will tell you what template you want to use. Okay, so all of that it will prompt you, and you can select the options. But if you want to specify the options like before, like with this command itself, okay, without going through the prompt, so you can directly say npm create Vite latest, and specify the project name, and specify the template as well over here. So here it's specified the template is Vue. You can specify the template as React if you're working on React over here. Okay, or if you're working on React with TypeScript support, you can say React-TS. So depending on what you want to do or what sort of project you're creating, you can specify the template. Okay, but I'll go ahead with this approach. Okay, I'll show you all the options that it asks us. Okay, now be sure you are in the folder which is not a React application. Okay, so I'm here in this folder where I'm creating all the React applications, right? So this is one React application that I have. Now I'll run this command. Okay, oops, not this one. Okay, the one that I copied, it should ideally be this one over here. Okay, and I'll paste it over here. So npm create Vite at latest. The moment I press enter, it will tell you that, hey, it needs to install the following packages. Okay, to proceed, I'll say yes. Okay, and it will install all the packages, and it is asking me what should be my project name. Okay, so I can enter my project name. It is I can say React, or one second. So I have my React app, right? So I can say my React, or it should not be my React app. So I can say Vite React, something like this. Okay, and I'll just press enter, and you can see it's asking me the framework. So which framework I wish to choose over here. Okay, so do you want vanilla? You want to make use of React. So since we are making use of React, I'll select React over here. It is asking me whether I want the TypeScript support or something like that. So I'll just select JavaScript over here. Okay, and yeah, we are done. You can see how quick this was. Okay, you can see no need to install the following packages. Okay, sorry, need to install the following packages. And it asked me a few questions for which I had answered. You can also skip this prompt, like I said, by adding this in the command. So you can specify the project name, and you can specify things like template and all over here. Okay, that is also doable. All right, but I choose to go the interactive way, and then it created this project over here. Okay, and it is telling you to do cd Vite React and do npm install, and you can do npm run dev. So let us run this command and let us see what happens. I'll go to cd Vite React. I'll say npm install, which will install all the dependencies that my project needs, and I'll copy this npm run dev over here. Okay, and yeah, it's installing everything. It will take a few seconds. It's done in 10 seconds, and I'll say npm run dev. And now you can see it started the server on localhost 5173. So this is a default port over here. Okay, that is being used to run these projects. Okay, and if you head over to this, okay, let me reset. So you can see I was zoomed in a lot. Okay, so you can see this is the default page. So it says Vite plus React, and you can see here is a counter which you can click and increase the count. Okay, and you have app.jsx, which you can explore and you can edit basically to update this particular UI over here. Okay, and you can click on Vite and React logos to learn more. So if you click on React, you will be taken to the React page. If you click on Vite logo, you will be taken to the Vite page. All right, so I hope you have been able to follow along, and I hope this has been useful. So now what I'm going to do is I have this Vite app running, but I'm actually running it from my native terminal. So what I would do is I would head over to Visual Studio Code and just open the Vite project in Visual Studio Code for me to work on it. So I'll head over to File. I'll say Open Folder. Okay. And here I'll select Vite React. Okay. So Vite React is what my project name is. All right, I'll open up the terminal as well over here. Okay, now I can run the server from here. So I can run the server actually, but here you will notice that the server is running on the port 5173. Okay, so I'll just stop this server. Okay, so we said npm run dev, and it is running on 5173, which is the default port for Vite projects. Now, let's say I want to customize this port to localhost 3000. Okay, so what I can do is I'll come over here. You can see the project structure. Okay, it's almost similar to the React application over here. You can see, okay, Vite.js, Vite config.js. That is the configuration file that we have got. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come into this configuration. Okay, this allows me to do some custom configuration for Vite. So I'll open this, and over here, you can see this. Okay, this is the configuration. So I have plugins of React. Now here under this, I'll say server. Okay, and I'll say colon. I'll add a open and close curly brace. I'll add a comma. I'll end this with a comma. Okay, and here I'll say port colon. I'll say 3000, and I'll end this with a comma. Okay, this is done. I'll save this file over here. Okay, and we can say npm run dev now. Okay, if you do this, you'll see that the server is up and running on localhost 3000. Oops, I accidentally terminated the server, but it's running on 3000. Now, if you refresh 5173, you won't find anything over here. But here on 3000, if you refresh this is our old app that we created. You will see Vite plus React running over here. Okay, so yeah, you have a counter. You can see everything is same. Okay, so this is how you can change the port by adding a simple configuration in Vite config.js, and you can do it the way I showed you. Okay, now here you'll see all the folders and everything that have been created, which are similar, I should say, to that of the one that we saw in the project that we generated using create React app. You'll see main.jsx. Okay, so in the React file or the earlier project that we had, if you create a project using create React app, you'll see it will be main.js and not JSX. Here you are having app.jsx and not app.js. Okay, so here everything is being defined in JSX extension, and the reason for this is because it has JSX code. Okay, so this code over here that you're seeing is not HTML. Okay, let me minimize this. So this is not HTML. In fact, this is actually JSX code. Okay, which is similar to HTML, almost similar, I would say. If you know HTML, you can actually read this code. But there are small differences like class name. This is how you define classes. So in HTML, you will have class like this, right, with this class tag. But here you have class name. Okay, and you can see rest everything looks similar to HTML. Okay, so this is the JavaScript XML JSX. Okay, and you'll find the file names as jsx.jsx over here. Okay, so this is something that you need to know. All right, and yeah, rest everything is similar. Index.html you have outside the public folder over here. You can see you have package.json, which is used to basically package, or not the package, I should say. It's basically used to manage dependencies for your project over here. And all the dependencies that you add will come in node modules, which we won't be touching. You have a public folder, which has a SVG file. Okay, so it's a similar structure, almost same, I would say. And if you understand the project created using create React app tool, then you will understand this as well. All right, so yeah, I hope this is useful, and I hope you have been able to follow along.